This is our revisit video on the Sog Power Access Deluxe. The tool performed pretty well for 2 months. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't recommend this thing. Let's go ahead and dive in, take a close-up look, and I'll explain what happened. Here's our tool. Let's go ahead and dive in. So at first you'll see the finish does look pretty nice. I use this tool every single day from the second that I made the video. I did try to use the sheath that it came with for about a day and a half, and I just got really frustrated with it. It's terrible. It's a really bad design. It's huge. It has a massive footprint on your belt and under your clothing. Also, whenever you go to lift your shirt up, the flap was so huge. I mean, the Velcro sheath flap was all the way down at the bottom of the tool. So that was just kind of a weird design. Most flaps come to about right here or so, whether they're button or Velcro. Also, the little pouch on the side that I thought was for a flashlight was actually supposed to hold the extra bits. Well, it's definitely not made to the proper size because the bit holders kept falling out. It was to the point where I noticed it almost about falling out, and I took it out and I said, you know what, it's just not even worth it anymore. And I got rid of it. I've been carrying this in a 6 or 7 year old Leatherman Super Tool sheath that is made of leather. So it's kind of funny. I mean, that product has held up over the test of time and ended up holding this thing. This is 4.5 inches tall, so it would be a little bit more difficult to find a sheath for. I think if that Leatherman sheath wasn't worn out, this may not have fit in it. So keep that in mind if you're going to be looking for a sheath. It is pretty thin, so maybe if you want to put it in your pocket, I could see that. I don't like stuff in my pockets. Let's go ahead and move on to what I like. I like how lightweight this thing is, and I like that now I can do one-hand manipulation with it, which is very important. A lot of times I'll be working on something and having to hold something with my hand, and I'll need to go find my multi-tool, get it out of the sheath, and be able to get it out with one hand. So that's really important. Unfortunately, it came with a sacrifice. The tool is very loose now. These two screws here, or the hardware, these fasteners are loose. I can actually push them up and down. So they need to be Loctited in place. So that'll probably get rid of my one-hand manipulation. I like that it held up pretty well to rust. I did spend 1 week in salt water with this. And you can see there's a little bit of surface rust or patina, whatever, down inside the lettering here. Also on some of the flats in the pliers and in the cracks. So all inside there, you can see there's a bit of rust there. Not a whole lot here, but like just kind of here and there, you know, like here's the Phillips head bit. It's just inside there. It's not even enough where you could really feel it. I did not really, I didn't abuse this tool. Every day when I got out of the salt water, I would wash it with dish soap and get it all cleaned off. So after cleaning it a few times, most of that rust did come off. One thing I noticed was very soon after getting it, or maybe when I got it, you can see the tool is not even. So if I push it down, that's even, but it just pops back up and kind of sits off center like that. I don't know that that really matters. And then we'll come to some blade damage that I had. The straight or flat blade here actually is pretty sharp, and I like that it's slim for certain things. I did gut and quarter a hog with this, and I forgot my nice knife, so this is all that I had, and it worked really well. The profile of the blade and the thinness of it was great to really get inside and quarter that animal, and it did it quickly. The blade is a very soft stainless. On the website, it doesn't tell you what grade, but it's pretty soft. I've had to sharpen this thing quite a few times. You'll also notice that the blade is very loose. So it wiggles forward and backwards and side to side, as well as this screwdriver here. I'm going to say that's probably because of this fastener maybe being a little bit loose. It doesn't feel loose, but it definitely flops around some. When I go to put the tools up, I'll start putting tension here, and then I'll lift back on this lock. So watch this. So I'll do that. When the tool was new, I kind of had to fold it in place, but now I can kind of shoot it up like that, so that's nice. I don't like that there's nothing for my thumb to grab onto. Like I said, one-hand manipulation is really important to me. I want to be able to take my tool out and deploy the blade. So right there, I could kind of do it, but most often I cannot do that. I wish it had some kind of ledge sticking off to the side, or maybe set up a little bit higher. I did like the Phillips head screwdriver. It is a very good profile, and this tool actually worked out great. I used the bottle opener several times, and I did use the can opener to open cans of food when we were camping. The tiny flathead screwdriver bit is a perfect size for a lot of really small precision jobs, and I wish it would have held up more. You can see it's already picked up a twist here. So the steel is not hardened properly, or not a very good quality of steel. I specifically remembered trying to be easy on this tool and not over torque it. So rather than chipping on the end, it actually just kind of twisted the whole thing and bent it up. So that's a little bit unfortunate. On the serrated blade, pretty early on, I noticed a nick in the blade. If I run my finger off the back here, I can feel it catching on something. And I don't know if the camera will quite show it, but right here in this second little low point, there's actually a nick out of the blade. There's a chunk of it, and it's kind of rolled over. And I found what that's actually from is the multi-tool itself. So watch this hump right here. There it is. It's actually hitting itself. This is the spring mechanism for the tools, and it actually just collapses in on itself. So I don't know. That's kind of unfortunate. I mean, that's just a design oversight. Another thing with the serrated blade, it sticks out a lot of times. So I would find myself opening the tool, and then the back of the pliers here would hit the blade, and I can't even open it. I actually had one instance where I tried to flip it out one-handed. This caught the blade, then the blade, it had tension on it, it was pushing it down. Well, it broke free, and somehow this serrated blade actually shot out like this while I was trying to do the tool, and that was kind of a little bit scary. So definitely an alignment issue there. That's kind of unfortunate. The pliers are great, I will say that. The tips here are a little less pointed than the power lock, and so they didn't break. They held up really, really well. The clamping action is fantastic on this thing, but now we have another downside. The clamping is great. When I went to pull up tent stakes out of the ground, I noticed it was kind of hurting my hand, and it was to the point where I stopped what I was doing. It was uncomfortable, and I noticed that these edges here are very sharp all the way around. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these sharp edges. So gripping and squeezing is not an issue, but pulling up, like if you're trying to pull something out, those will really cut into you. You definitely want to do something about that. And then to my final unfortunate point, and the reason why I'm discontinuing using this tool, it has cracked right there. So the frame of the tool has broken at one of those sharp points. And I was pulling out some tent stakes. So I've been camping several times with this, but just this past weekend we were doing the Gambler 500, and we were getting ready to leave, and I noticed, man, something just really cut my hand. And I had been mindful of these little sharp points, and I looked down, and sure enough, this thing was protruding out quite far, and it was just sharp metal, and it just kind of sliced my hand. So, man, that really, really sucks, because this tool was looking great out of the box. But it comes back to the same sort of issues that I had with the power lock, of just a poor design. And I'm really sad to say it. I mean, maybe if you don't use your tools, this thing would be great. I use my tools every single day, and like I said, I don't abuse them. I use them for what they're made to do. So it's really unfortunate. I'm gonna go ahead and send this back to SOG and see what they say about it. I mean, I wouldn't carry this even if they sent me a new one, because it's gonna break there, along with the other issues that I pointed out. So I kind of wish that I could recommend this tool, but I can't. We'll go ahead and send it back, and maybe we'll try something else. You never know. If you thought this was interesting, or you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. Thanks for watching.